Hello, everyone. I am Demetra K, and I hope you're having a great day. I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, yeah, he's bald, and that's what he get because he was just making fun of me right now, talking about you're going to wear that scarf on there. I'm like, yes, I like it. It's kind of fashionable, right? So anyway, the purpose of the Demetra K show, other than the foolishness, is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also to my moderators, I love and appreciate you dearly for all that you do. I know I was supposed to give somebody a wrench, but I forgot. I have to look on my desk. I got a copious amount of notes. I'll find it eventually. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about, unfortunately, Black Americans, or the Iranian war rather, will hit Black Americans the hardest. Now, some of y'all probably thinking, no, it's not, because somebody told me. Well, I'm going to do my best to try to outline it as best I can and to tell you why I'm saying that. By now, you've all seen my thumbnail, and I think that's a pretty good illustration of what may or may not be happening. Also, before I give it to Donovan, I just want to let you know, in May, myself, along with Brother Phil, will be in Ohio for the Ohio Black Expo. Yes, we will. May 23rd to be exact. You can get your tickets, ohioblackexpo.com. Again, ohioblackexpo.com. They're having a sale right now, so go there and check it out. Columbus, Ohio, to be exact, where we will be featured on a panel. We'll be speaking to everybody and just answering questions and a whole host of other things. We're going to meet everybody. I hope to meet some of y'all. And if not all y'all, come on out, right? Standing room only like it was last time. We were so amazed. So yes, please come out and see us, ohioblackexpo.com. And then if you happen to be around Toronto, Canada, in July 25th to be exact, come out and meet myself, Brother Phil, Brother Theo. Will be there. Sister Emma, she's actually hosting this event with our African Diaspora News Channel. It's going to be our Narrative Power Summit, where we're going to be having a conversation about everything you can think of, right? So please come on out, Toronto, Canada. Get your tickets at africandiasporanews.org/Canada. Anyway, Donovan, what say you?
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's 3 p.m. here. The time change has either happened or it's going to happen. I don't know which is which. So those of you guys that are on top of that, good for you. Welcome to the Demetra K Show. It's great to have you guys.
Isn't it nice to just be so detached from every damn thing? Yes, we had a time change. You're like, I don't
know. Yes. Welcome back to the show, or to the program, may I say. And a lot of stuff has happened. Again, let me show you the foolishness of our women, and I'm talking about Black women in general. Once again, they are blaming Black men, some women, not all y'all, are blaming Black men for Jasmine Crockett losing the election. There's a plethora of reasons why she lost that election. If you guys really go look at it, you cannot run in a primary, a Democratic primary, and talk about Trump, when your opponent is your fellow Democrat. And if there's any shenanigans that went on, that is within the Democratic Party. So again, when you guys run across your fellow people talk about, yeah, look how they did Jasmine, the Republicans did this. You guys know what to say, but welcome to the Demetra K Show. Do us a favor. We have a scrolling banner at the bottom there. If you guys want to donate and continue to have these great conversations, where you can do it, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Money Order, Cash. Also, please do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. It is a great gift. A lot of graduations are happening. The greatest gift you can give anybody is the gift of knowledge. And you can get the African Diaspora News Channel app on Google Play, Apple Store, Emancipation Channel, Wangel, Vicky Dillard, Brother Phil Scott, Demetra. You also get updates on what the African Diaspora News Channel crew is doing, if you're a part of that app. And if you don't want the app, you can download it directly to the YouTube channel and subscribe there. Like I said, to me, lifetime membership is the way to go, because once you lock that in, it'll never go up, it'll never go down for you, and you don't have to worry about hitting your credit card or your debit card over and over and over again. You pay that one-time fee and you're in for free for the rest of your life. This is going to be an interesting conversation. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of stuff's been happening here in California. I want to say this, and I was telling Demetra this just before we came on the show. If you have a loved one that is in the military and is about to get out of the military, it is very, very important that they know what the character of their discharge is. The Vietnam vet guy that I'm working with, and I'm meeting a whole bunch of veterans that think they got out based on this. Come to find out, you look at their records, it's something that they written totally different. The white supremacy is an MFer, and I'm telling you, nothing surprises me about what they did. This dude thought he got out because he had flat feet. Come to find out, it was another condition they assigned to him. We did the calculations. This is a Vietnam vet. We did the calculations just on his hearing alone. If he just got his hearing, he let $230,000 sit on the table that he was entitled to being in the military, you 10% for your ears. From then until now, $233,000 gone. So again, if you have a loved one, make sure that they read their DD 214 and know what is said about them in that and what the character of their discharge is. So I digress. Let's get into this conversation. It's going to be very, very interesting. Of course, you got your fear mongers out there. Oh, I'm scared now. The Iranians going to come in and do something to us. But you were the same person that was harping for open borders. Now you're worried about sleeper cells coming and going and going and coming. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. And Ramadan Mubarak to those who are observing Ramadan as I am, and the time change. So we have to wait another hour. That's okay. We get another hour in the morning to eat, whatever. So anyway, and hello to everybody. So let's get into it. I'm going to give you a recap. Please pay attention to all of it because it is important. I am drawing a conclusion and a narrative here. So just pay attention. All right, so you guys know that we are in a war. Okay, I know officially it hasn't been declared one by Congress, but Congress also did not want to go against Trump. So they did not want to stop the war. In fact, they voted not to do that. Republicans and Democrats did that. Okay, so February 28, 2020. This is just a recap because a lot of people have no idea. I've been having this conversation with people. They just really do not know what's going on. So February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched a massive coordinated strike on Iran, reportedly called Operation Epic Fury. Hundreds of targets were hit across Tehran, Isfahan, Qom, and military bases, including missile sites, nuclear infrastructure, and command centers. The operation aimed to cripple Iran's missile capability, nuclear program, naval assets, and leadership. Now, during the opening strikes, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed along with multiple senior military officials. Roughly 40 high-ranking Iranian political and military figures were reportedly killed in the initial phase. This triggered a leadership crisis in Iran and pushed the conflict into open war. Okay, after Khamenei's death, it says Iran established a temporary leadership council led by senior circles and government officials to maintain control of the state. Iran's clerical assembly later chose Majid Khamenei, Khamenei's son, the supreme leader who was killed, as the new supreme leader. Sounds like that happened today. It says that this is historically significant because the Islamic Republic was founded against hereditary rule, yet power effectively passed from father to son. So traditionally they don't do it, but they did it, because of what's going on. Now, the U.S. and Israel strongly criticized the decision and rejected legitimacy of the new leader. So just a side note here, Trump and Netanyahu says that we being America and Israel need to have a say-so in who Iran chooses for their leadership. Okay, so they're saying we don't like that Khamenei's son is now going to be taking a helm. Okay, so they're just saying we need to be choosing that. Just putting that out there. Now, Iran responded within hours with a missile drone and proxy attacks across the region. Targets included Israeli cities, U.S. military bases in the Middle East, Gulf states hosting U.S. forces, shipping and ports in the Persian Gulf. Examples of retaliation: ballistic missiles fired toward Israel, drone strikes against Gulf infrastructure, missile attacks on U.S. bases in Qatar, and Bahrain. Iran also activated allied militias such as Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Lebanon being struck as well, opening another front against Israel. So numbers are still evolving, but current estimates include, as far as casualties are concerned, Iran, 1,300 civilians and thousands wounded from airstrikes, dozens of senior government and military officials killed. Israel, around 9 plus civilians killed in missile strikes with dozens injured. Now, side note here, it is said that Israeli government or whatever it is, they're not allowing people to put images and videos out. They're actually physically stopping them from doing that. There was a case of a reporter who was trying to, show and tell people what's going on, and he was arrested there, right? So they're not wanting what's going on to go out. So some people are saying that maybe the numbers are higher and the destruction is higher, okay? So I'm just putting that out there. Now, the U.S., it says 3 to 7. Actually, the 7th soldier passed away not too long ago. It says troops killed and several wounded in missile attacks on bases. It says regional casualties, the UAE, Oman, Lebanon, and Gulf shipping crews. So these are some of the casualties. Now, also the soldiers' bodies that came home, I think it was yesterday. Trump, Melania, and a couple people were standing there. Now there's some criticism from Fox News and the Trump administration, because as Trump was standing there saluting the remains of the soldiers, he had on his merch, his hat that says, I don't know, Trump 2028 or something like that, right? So Fox News actually edited out that image and put an image from him doing it when he was a president the first time without the hat. So Fox actually issued an apology saying, oh, it was a mistake, oops, or sorry. But many people are saying, no, y'all did that on purpose, because Trump is sitting up there welcoming home the bodies of the slain in his merch. Trump 2028, which we know he can't run again, right? But anyway, I digress. Now, the Strait of Hormuz crisis. This is a big one. One of the most dangerous consequences of war. Iran declared the Strait of Hormuz closed and threatened shipping. So there's nothing going out of the Strait of Hormuz. It says about 20% of the oil from Iran, it comes, I guess, through everywhere. So it's completely closed down. Now, it says several tankers were attacked and damaged. At least 8 seafarers were killed and multiple ships hit. Now, the strait handles about, as I said, 20% of the global oil shipments, making it the most important oil choke point in the world, okay? Now, shipping disruptions have caused energy markets volatility, tankers rerouting, insurance costs for shipping skyrocketing. Side note, Trump did say, well, you guys go ahead and go through the Strait of Hormuz, and I'm going to personally insure your ships and your cargo. And people are like, yeah, man, I'm not taking that bet, okay? You go through there with your yacht and all of that. Also, it is said that Amazon, some of their facilities and satellites and things like that, completely not working at all, okay? Just putting that out there. So attacks on oil infrastructure. The war quickly expanded to energy targets. Your energy is going to be going up. I kid you not. My daughter and I were at Sam's Club. The gas was $2.45 when we went in. We weren't even there an hour, and when we came out, the gas is at $2.55. This is just Sam's Club. It's typically cheaper, but within the time that we were in that store, it went up 10 cents. Okay. What I understand, my brother's saying that some places in California they're at $6, and that was a couple of days ago. Okay, now examples: Iranian oil depots and fuel facilities in Tehran bombed by Israel. Iranians missile hit Saudi Aramco Ras Tanura refinery, causing fires and temporary shutdown. Consequences: oil prices surge worldwide. Gulf states, including military defenses around energy infrastructure. Now, expansion into a regional war. Here we go. The conflict is no longer just Iran versus Israel. Active fronts now include Israel versus Hezbollah, Lebanon, Iran versus U.S. forces in Gulf bases, missiles and drone warfare across the Persian Gulf. Hundreds of thousands of civilians in Lebanon and northern Israel have been displaced. They said the people in Israel are Al, I'm sorry that is long and confusing for you, and no disrespect. You probably might want to go watch some Sanford and Son, because there's some people who are interested in what's going on all over the world. I know, and this is why I'm talking about it too. And I'm not trying to really, go there, but the Negro in America, we are so just unfocused. If I was talking about T.I., and don't block them, because I know y'all be liking the block, T.I. and 50 Cent and all that, we be all, not y'all, them, all ears. And this is why we having this conversation now, right now. I don't care if it's one person that's listening to what I got to say. I'm interested in saving the one that's interested, then the thousands that's not interested. So if this ain't for you, then go turn on the boob tube, homie. Anyway, respectfully. Hundreds of thousands of civilians, because there's a lot of people who just don't know. I pay attention to this all day long because I'm interested, okay? Hundreds of thousands of civilians in Lebanon and northern Israel have been displaced. Now, current military situation, the war remains ongoing with these characteristics. The U.S. and Israel continue large-scale airstrikes inside Iran. Iran continues missile and drone retaliation across the region. Shipping through the Strait of Hormuz remains disrupted. Oil markets remain unstable. No ceasefire negotiations have succeeded thus far. Okay, now I want to show y'all this video. Now, again, I know this ain't the sexy stuff. I'm not interested in the sexy stuff right now. What I'm interested in doing is waking us up so that we can understand what we are dealing with, because that comment right there is why I'm doing this, because Black Americans, especially, we so checked out. And then when the rubber hits meets the road, we're going to be like, what eyes do now? I don't know. Ask your mama. Okay. So anyway, I want y'all to watch this video. This is the foreign leader of Iran.
Because what conditions would Iran accept to bring this war to an end?
Well, actually, we are not at that point yet. Obviously, this time is different from the previous time. Last time, we accepted the ceasefire, but this time is quite different, and the reason is obvious. Last time they attacked us, they made aggression against us, they killed our people, they destroyed our places, and then asked for a ceasefire, and we accepted out of good faith, because we were only exercising the act of self-defense. And when the aggression was stopped, we stopped too. But it didn't bring about peace. And now this year they again started to attack us. And again they have they are killing our people. They are killing girl students. They are attacking hospitals. Freshwater desalinations. Refineries. Everywhere, people have been killed, places have been destroyed, and now they want to ask for a ceasefire again. Well, this doesn't work like this. So there should be a permanent end of the war, and unless we get to that, I think we need to, continue fighting for the sake of our people and our security.
We are going to get to the reports about some of the deaths in just a moment, but just to stay on this topic, would Iran ever agree to a ceasefire to get back to the negotiating table to end all of this military conflict?
Well, they have to explain why they started this aggression before we come to the point to even consider a ceasefire. Of course, nobody wants to continue this war. This is not our war. This is not our, the war of our choice. This is imposed on us by the United States, by Israelis. They have, started this war unprovoked, unwarranted, illegally, and what we are doing is legal act of self-defense, and we have every right to do that. So it is not fair that if only it stops the aggression and ask us to stop too. As I said, this time is different.
Okay, so that was basically the foreign leader of Iran saying, no, we will not be engaging in any ceasefire negotiations, because the last time when United States struck them, remember when Trump said we destroyed all their nuclear weapons, and they agreed. They said, okay, cool. Iran shot some missiles here and there, and they was like, okay, that's enough. We agreed. So basically what he was saying is the United States is a liar, okay? We agreed, and the last time we thought was cool, and then they did it again. He says, we didn't attack, they attacked. So, why do we believe that they would even agree to this ceasefire? We know that the goal, or we'll speculate that the goal for the United States and Israel is total annihilation of Iran. Okay, they're like the last on the list to bend the knee, if you will. If you're paying attention to what's going on, it's a lot of people probably ain't. That's okay. Cuba is completely in the dark. Their food supply is dwindled, and a whole host of other things. Now they've been after Cuba since the 60s, probably the 50s, right? So finally, Cuba's bending the knee. I saw what happened in Mexico with the cartel, debacle, and of course Venezuela. They kidnapped the president and took the country, and so this is just the beginning. If they can get Iran to bend the knee, then it's a wrap. There's a lot of control there. Now, of course, we'll get into some of this other stuff later on in the week. Now, why is this? What does this got to do with us? Okay, because I know a lot of people got some smarty pants and ain't got nothing to do with us. Okay, well, says my research, okay, why this might hit Black Americans harder. Research shows Black households on average spend a higher of a share of income on transportation, often commute farther to work, are less likely to work remotely. So when gas jumps $1 to $2 per gallon, it takes a larger share of disposable income. Food prices could rise. War affecting oil also affects food prices. Why? Farms rely on diesel fuel for equipment. Fertilizer prices often rise when energy markets spike. Shipping food across the country becomes more expensive. This can lead to higher meat prices, higher produce prices, higher packaged food prices, impact on Black households. Black Americans statistically have lower median income wealth, higher food cost burden relative to income. So food inflation tends to hit harder and faster. Inflation could rise again. And I mean, if you read the tea leaves, yeah, that's a given, right? If oil spikes, it could restart inflation in the U.S. Possible ripple effects, higher airline tickets, higher utility bills, higher delivery costs, higher rent, indirectly through inflation pressure. If inflation rises again, the Federal Reserve may keep interest rates higher longer. And if you know what that is, that means that you're going to pay more on credit cards, mortgage cards, everything, okay? Okay, I just should have read that last part, because if you know, you know. Military spending could increase. If the war expands, the U.S. may increase military spending. That could lead to larger federal deficits, potential cuts on pressure on domestic programs. Programs that disproportionately affect Black communities include housing assistance. And if you've been listening to Scott Turner, the housing secretary, if you on HUD in Section 8 and you able-bodied, check my story out tomorrow on African Diaspora News Channel, okay? Now, so housing, education, social services, this isn't guaranteed, but historically, wars shift budget priorities. And the stock market and things like that, so on and so forth, job market. So I'm saying all that to say, as far as Black Americans, they say when America catches a cold, we catch what? The flu. We catch the flu. Now, we knew this time was coming. It has been told to us, whether you read the Bible, whether you read the Quran, whether you've been listening to the Nation of Islam. And I got a couple of things for you. Well, I give it to Donovan because I know, people are impatient, but that's all right. This is for people who want to hear it. Okay, because that's my job, right? So I told y'all about this book. I'm gonna actually put it up for you because so you can see it. Right now, this is by Sister Landra L. Muhammad. It came out in 2014. Weathering the Storm: Disaster Preparedness, How to Survive the Fall of America. And this is on the last page here. Okay, now I'm gonna read this to you. I know some of y'all probably like, oh my God, but that's okay. You'll be all right. Pretend like you're in class. Okay, so this is a quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in this book. This is the last page. I'm going to read the front. I saw the earthquake in Japan and the tsunami that followed and damaging of nuclear reactors that began poisoning the air and the water. And I began to age as I was looking at it because I knew there was a deeper significance in that God wanted me to look into. And when I saw the horror and suffering of the Japanese people, as prepared as they are, as technologically proficient as they are, yet they were not prepared for the magnitude of what happened to them. And what made me want to call a press conference was to warn America that a major earthquake is on the way to you, me, and us. Death and destruction is at the door of all of us, and we are worse prepared than the Japanese, okay? We say we're going to talk about Black Americans. And the arrogance of the American government and people to think that our nuclear reactors are secure when two major ones are sitting on fault lines. Much death, I'm going to say it again, much death is on the way. And what is it for? Say, well, Farrakhan, this is what he's saying. Why are we doing this? He says, my teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was not only a messenger of God and more, he was a guide and warner to you Black people and to the American people and to the American government and to the nations of the earth. He told us of the headlines before we ever saw them. He knew what was coming. I pray that we see what's going on in the world and that we try our best to be prepared. And on the last page, it says you need to store some water in your homes. You need to store some food in your homes, grocery that will allow you to be in your home for 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 3 months. Now, this is what he said in 2011. Of course, just briefly, I always talk about the fall of America. Some of y'all read it, most of you won't. Then, of course, There is How to Eat to Live, volumes 1 and 2. It tells you what to eat and how to live, right? How to eat longer and all of that. So I'm saying all this to say, yes, unfortunately, the Iranian war will hit Black Americans the hardest. And I'm going to tell you why before I give it to Donovan. It's going to hit us the hardest because, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, we are always focused on sport and play. If it ain't a baseball game, a football game, something on TV, some whatever it is, we're not interested. Per the comment that came in there, I'm too long-winded. Well, brother, how much is long-winded when the rubber meets the road? Because you know when your ears is going to be wide open, your ears is going to be wide open when it's you. When all this comes down the pike and you don't have a bean or a drop of water to eat, then you're going to be wanting to know, well, what does I do now? Nah, homie, shut up. Shut up and stop listening to me now, because I'm doing my job as taking the information that I got and I'm disseminating it. Now, in this book, she talked about Noah and the ark, right? We all know that story. Noah was like, hey, the flood is coming, the rain is coming. Come on, come on, come on. I'm building this ark. And most people said, what? I'm good. Now, unknown, I know you said this isn't the first war, but if you paying attention, you know this may be the last, homie, if you're paying attention. But a lot of people ain't paying attention, okay? So, again, there's all these, and James Baldwin set the fire next time. So we got all these warnings and people playing, oh, it ain't that serious. It's not our first war. Well, hey, I'll tell you what. Do the voodoo that you do so well. That's all I'm going to say. Because when it comes down to me and mine, we're going to be prepared. We're not going to be dismissive. Oh, this is not our first war, whatever the case is. But at the very least, get prepared. That's all I'm saying. Because, boy, I tell you, your ears going to be wide open. It's not if, it's when. America will fall. And so if you believe anything that you've heard, whether it's from your church or wherever, America will fall because it cannot stand with all of the evil and destruction that it has done to its own people, especially the Black Americans on those plantations, and what it is doing all over the world. So I'm going to get into the comment section after Donovan. But Donovan, what say you?
Well, first of all, Benjamin Franklin once said, I believe it was Benjamin Franklin, the threat to the United States is not external. It's going to be internal. We are going to be messed up from within, as we've already seen with open borders, like I've already told you guys. It is common sense. You don't let strangers into your home. All these people that you guys know of that is supportive of the Latinos, and by the way, the Latinos sure did show Jasmine Crockett how they felt about her after she picked up the, she made some gaffes on it, but she was championing illegal immigration and all that other stuff, and they showed her how they felt about all of that. But my point is this: common sense. All these people who are for open borders and all this other great stuff, go and ask them, hey, that homeless person over there, just let him in your house. Nobody that has common sense is going to let a stranger into their home. So whenever I see these liberals out here talking all that, we're all God's people, there's only one human being and it's the human being and all that other stuff, I say, okay, well, let me in your house. You don't know me from Adam, but let me in your house around your children and all that other stuff. But again, it is said we're going to be destroyed from within versus without. Now, with the $1 trillion budget that has already passed, how much more money are we going to give the military to do what it is that they're doing in our name? Now, even though I predicted Jasmine Crockett was going to lose and she was going to lose big, I also pointed out to you guys, and I say it all the time, you guys that are regulars on the show, we are being gentrified how? Physically out of our neighborhoods, and we're being gentrified politically. All you Negroes out there that think that, oh, I ain't gonna do nothing for this country, whatever the deal is. How do you know that if there's not enough Black people representing you to have a voice up in there where these decisions are made? How do you know that? I go to jail first. Well, then you go to hell on to jail. That's fine. But see, this is my point. And the new Black media has been saying it all over the place in one form or another. We have been gentrified politically to where we have no voice in this country. Thus, by my calculation, that would equivalent to me no better than being a slave. we are quietly being, I mean, as intelligent as Jasmine Crockett is, and I do believe she's an intelligent woman. I do believe that. Now, why you would want to cosplay as a ghetto ratchet, I don't know. But she used the same playbook as Kamala Harris. You're going to get Cardi B, who talks mad dirt about black women, to endorse you. Now I'm going to label that the Cardi B effect. If you're a person in politics and you see an endorsement is being made by Cardi B, that candidate's going to lose. But my point is this. All of these things are happening. We're going overseas. They're doing all of this in our name. If we like it or not, we have no voice to stop it because we keep electing this bootleg type people into the office that are Democrats. Now, the reason I keep bringing up Jasmine Crockett is this. When she conceded, and it was the Democrats that screwed her over, in my opinion, when she conceded her concession note, what did she say she was going to do? She didn't say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to continue to work for black people. What did she say? I'm going to continue to work to elect Democrats up and down the ticket. These black representatives are Democrats first. Do you think they give a damn if your children are drafted to go fight a war that they should never be fighting to begin with? They don't give a damn. They're telling you they're Democrats first. And a Democrat, just like a Republican, is advantageous to black life. And why do I say that? What has the Democrat Party done for black people in 60 years? Name me one thing other than misery and destruction and death. But I'm seeing you guys have a lot of comments in the section there. I don't disagree with Demetra about a lot of stuff. That is one way to look at things. Everybody has a right to defend themselves in this situation. But again, my situation is people have to recognize we are starting to have no voice in this country of significance. Do you guys realize Hispanics are going to be 40% of, well, they're already 40% of the population, illegal or legal? And for all we know, how many people that were legal actually voted in the Texas election that Jasmine just lost? But notice she was quick to talk about, or she alleged voter fraud, but yet they don't believe in voter ID. I personally believe some people who shouldn't have voted in that election voted because the numbers just don't make sense. But we have to look at the fact that even though Jasmine has lost, that is a voice that wasn't really doing anything for black people. But the fact of the matter is that voice has now been removed, and they are slowly removing these black politicians out of position. Of course, a lot of them are civil rights era people that are going to go on the glory and they're going to hold on to that seat forever. But the mere fact that they are being gentrified, black people are being gentrified out of Congress, and we're being replaced by who? First generation Americans, possibly second generation Americans who still have ties to the homeland. If you like Ilhan Omar or not, we can say one thing. She made sure her resources was going to her people. I'm gonna land my plane right there.
Yeah, so, and I hear everything everybody's saying about Jasmine, Ilhan, and everybody else, but if black Americans never voted again, we should still be able to be self-sustaining on a minimum level, right? Because the Republicans, Democrats, Independents, whoever, they have not been doing anything specifically for black Americans. None of them have. But at the same time, while voting is important, we got stuff to do on our end. And African Native, he says, blacks are not at war. Oh, yes, we are. Black Americans are at war. And I know we kind of really don't think about it, but we're at war within our own communities, right? So the war overseas, yeah, we're going to feel the effects of that, and really more so due to the war in our own communities. Like I said, whether it's between the black man, the black woman, whether it's group economics, you name it. We have a schism all throughout our community, right? Politics, we don't agree on anything. But again, if we never voted again, Nothing is stopping us from figuring out how to keep our $2 trillion in our pocket, how to build our own businesses, and all the things in between. Okay. Now, there's a lot of things that's working against us. Is institutional, systemic racism, all that. Yes, it is. But we working against each other. We never want to really have that conversation. Yes, we can finger point to everybody else. And yes, there are some things that happen to us, no doubt, right? There's nobody in the United States of America, or I would say even throughout history, that has had the horrible circumstances as the Black man and Black woman in America from those plantations all the way up until now, okay? Wasn't that long ago we saw a Black man have a knee to his neck by a police officer, and everybody watched. And to this day, they still want him to be free, okay? That was 2020 that happened. But you know what? I'm going to say this respectfully. Damn Jasmine Crockett. Damn T.I., damn 50. You know why? Because when Armageddon hits, they're going to be better off than all of us a little bit longer. Eventually, it'll trickle down to them, but it's the rest of us that are not going to be doing well. Now, individually, we might do all right, but it's going to have the conversation of collectively. But you know who's going to get together collectively? The Mexicans, the Asians, right? Let's say Latinos, the Asians, white folks, Indians, they all gonna get together collectively. Even the people from the continent, they gonna get together collectively, but it's gonna be us. We don't have an emergency plan. We don't have that. Where's the escape route? Where is the, as she says, the go bag? We don't have that as Black Americans. Now, I know some people are like, well, that's a little bit too negative. Hey, it is what it is. Okay. The truth ain't always rosy and pretty and things like that. Now, I, like a lot of people, can say, hey, I got my navy beans. I got my can, this, that, and the other, my garage and full of water. I got all of that. Forget everybody else. But I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right to hoard the information. And listen, I've been hearing this information from my dad, who was FOI, until he went back to Allah. Story of food and water, story of food and water. We've been hearing this from the nation, been hearing this everywhere, or whatever it is. It's not just food and water, but because we misappropriate our money as a people, these energy costs, the gas costs, everything, we're going to start hearing more of. I ain't got it. Some of us are probably already getting those phone calls. Hey, can I get a couple bucks? I'm already getting those phone calls. And this started before the war. Hey, can I get a couple dollars? You got a couple dollars I could borrow? I'm already getting those calls, right? And so I don't mind if I got it. But if it gets down to the point where I ain't got it, I'm going to be like, I don't know what to tell you, okay? Because I need it for me. So, again, there's a lot of things that we can focus on, but we got to focus on us. There's a lot of things I could be talking about. That's more interesting. But why? Is the salacious stuff going to help us? No. So right now, while we're here, we need to have the conversation of how do we lessen the blow of it's not if, it's when. Now, I know a lot of people telling you, all right, you, like I said, you go do what you need to do. Just don't ring my number.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the signs have already been there. When you get 400 Black women and they lose their jobs around this time last year. Remember, out of that 400 Black women, a good majority of them had technically bought their homes, right? Where they, got a mortgage on it. Those mortgages have now come in and come due. Look at all the homes that are going to be lost by the community. So the signs have already been there. They have already been there. And for people not to see it, it's mind-blowing to me, Dimitri. But again, let's get into the chat and let our co-host have a say.
Absolutely. And a Black Butterfly just says Haitian Congresswoman in Utah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the Congressional Black Caucus that are not actually Black American. And so a lot of us are really just saying, that isn't that something, right? So, yeah, let me get down to the comments. Brother Damon says, facts, worry about self, and we don't do that. We don't. We're too distracted. And listen, a lot of this, and you guys know this, I'm preaching to the choir, a lot of this is by design. Keep them distracted. Keep them talking about Cardi B and all this other. Keep them distracted. Because when you keep a juggernaut like Black Americans distracted, then we don't build. We don't unify. Okay? There's a lot of people make a lot of money off of our disunity. and us not focusing on us, doing what we're supposed to do. It's by design, and we keep falling for it, right? And you would think this conversation would be the hottest one jumping, but it's not. Because for one, as I said too, I like talking about things or people and stuff like that, but I don't want to do it from a point of where I'm tearing people down. Because at the end of the day, what is it really doing for us? The people we're talking about needs to be talked about sometimes, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, we're pointing fingers. And we got 4 pointing back at us. And the question is always going to be, but Black Americans, what about you? What about you? We are survivors. And I saw somebody say, we survived this day. Yes, we are survivors. But damn, don't y'all want to get out of survival mode? I know I want to get out of survival mode. I want to get back to where our ancestors were building all the Wall Streets and stuff. We need to get back there. But we're in survival mode. And it's because we're distracted by a whole host of things that doesn't serve us at all. Let's see, in African Native says, rich Black men should marry poor Black women too. They are quickened to marry poor white women. That should stop. See, now you're speaking too much common sense. But again, that goes with the gender war that we have. Like Black women and some Black men and Black women and some Black men. It's like, shut up already. Because at the end of the day, Black men and women going to get together whether we like it or not. It might as well be now. Do we have individual issues? Yes. But sometimes we got to put those issues aside because that's what every other community does. They're like, yeah, Lupita, she whatever. She ain't what she used to be when she was 21 and fun. But you know what, though? Lupita taking care of my household and she raising these children and saving this money and stocking these beans and these rice and things like that so that we can do what we got to do.
Everybody's playing their position. Everybody's playing their position. If you're a guard, you play guard. If you're a center, you play center. If you're a wide receiver, you're a wide receiver. Everybody's playing their position.
Yeah. Jessica, how you doing? It says Blacks have never been at war. We have been in multiracial, generational war. How sad for people not to see it. Yeah. We have been in war, but at war, we're at war within our own community. It's just true. Everywhere you look, we are at war, and it's silliness. But again, that stuff was taught to us, and we just really haven't unlearned that. Because I can't tell you what, they didn't go kidnap a people that was at war with each other. There was cohesiveness going on. I would think. I wasn't there. I just speculate at this point. Gooseneck was going on. She says, always been a war. D-Max says, exactly, Sister Mitra, we're in a house fighting over BS. Yeah. Jasmine Crockett, she's a puppet. They're all puppets. They're puppets and pawns. And Jasmine, along with a whole host of them, they working for them people that's, getting it jiggy with Iran right now. They're all a puppet. So we think we voting on somebody who's going to do something for Black America. No, they're not even barely interested in doing nothing for the American people, let alone Black Americans. Their interest is overseas, right? And I know y'all saw that Marine that went to that, congressional meeting somewhere and they broke his arm because he was like, we're not going to go die for Israel. I'm sorry. Nobody wants to do that. Right? Buckhurst says, I just need to know who we fighting. Right now, we fighting each other. Right? And Sylvia, he says, we must come together for survival. We got to. Jerron, he says, the military age men that fled their homelands will also flee the U.S. if they have to fight for this country. Well, that is true. But no, the people that should have to fight for this country are the people who's going to benefit from it the most. They tell us, oh, we're trying to fight for our freedom and keep America secure. Really? Us as Black men and women in America, we are the least safe people in America. As a Black man, you can walk down the street and you may not make it home. You might be roughed up by the police or anybody else. So who are they really fighting for freedom for? Have Black men in America, Black women and men in America ever been free? I'm talking about in the true sense of freedom. So when they tell us the military is fighting for our freedom, who is this R that they talking about? So the people who's going to benefit from it, they need to go over there. I saw Lindsey Graham all over the news today talking about, yeah, we're doing this total destruction. It's like if you don't sit your funny shaped head down somewhere, you ain't going nowhere over there. And if you got kids, I don't know if he does, but if you got kids,
no, he's a bastard.
Yeah. But so you not sending them or your loved ones, but you advocating for American men and women go over and fight a war they won't benefit from? No.
Yeah, and we're talking about the police. If you look at a lot of police municipalities, especially here in California and Texas, the majority of your police department is what? Hispanic. So a lot of Black folks that are being brutalized and beat up are being brutalized and beat up by the Black and Brown coalition that doesn't exist. You're more likely to run into a Hispanic police officer that has no problem brutalizing you.
Yeah, but you know the Black ones do it too. You know, Memphis. You go to Memphis, Tennessee, where they took out Tyree Nichols. All Black officers did that to him. Joshua, how you doing? Says, what if you a truck driver that only got so much storage in your truck? Well, you know what? What if you drive a Ford, a little Ford, that tiny little car? You know, you got to take what you need, right? You ain't gonna be able to take the TV, the flat screens, and your Xbox. I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying in general. You're not going to be able to do all that. You're going to have to take the stuff that you need, some clothes, some food, some, a safety kit, the essentials, right? Because you just never know, or whatever it is. But I guess you're saying it as a truck driver, well, you store the stuff that you need. Store the stuff that you need.
Can I suggest, if you guys haven't seen the movie Red Dawn 1984, go watch it. Go watch it.
Yeah, and Elder Dwayne, you said solar are better than electricity bill. Yeah, but even with the solar panels, I understand you still got to pay something, right? I have a set rate on my electric bill. Every time it's time for me to renew, they say you want to lock it in. Yes, I do, because I live here in Texas, and I remember when the freeze happened, people was getting those hundreds and thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but $100 or $1,000 of electricity bill. So I was like, nah, put me on the lock rate, please, and thank you.
Yeah, what's really sad is solar is a big scam. And I'll tell you guys this, you could do your own solar. All you need is a battery, a power regulator, and a panel, and you can store your own power. But, again, people are too lazy and we just don't want to do it. Our innovation and our thing to get out there and to build up the community. No, we rather let Pedro do it than finding, and it's very rare. It's hard to find Mr. Washington that could do the carpentry and all this other stuff, because again, we didn't pass that on to the next generation. And it's sad, for whatever reasons, you've got young men that have been feminized that don't want to do those type of jobs.
Absolutely. Hobby, you say panicking isn't good. We need to calm down. Well, we passed panicking. If we were more strategic, and we used to be, I don't want to run us all the way low, but if we were more strategic and we were planning ahead, we wouldn't need to panic. But panic is what's going to happen. Okay. Like chickens running around with their heads cut off. That's what's exactly going to happen. And then you're going to start hearing them knock on the doors and the calls. Hey girl, you got some flour. You got some, I do, but not for you, boo boo. Right. As Sister Muhammad said here in the book, it's one thing if somebody's house was destroyed, right? And it's okay, you help those people. But you're going to really help the people who have been warned just like you, and they're okay, and they spent their time partying and, good time charlieing, as my mama used to say. You going to help those people? No. In my Kamala voice, no. Because you knew. So if I help you and give you all of my resources, then what are we both going to be looking stupid, right? Because I prepared. You didn't. As my daddy would say, you bought what you wanted, and now you're coming over here to beg for what you need. So while you out there buying whatever it is you buying, buy you some beans and rice too, okay? Make it a joint effort. I'm going to get my irk and jerk, and I'm going to get my beans and rice, okay, when it goes down.
Yep, and if you guys are paying attention, what's another thing that is non-perishable? Honey, peanut butter. You got to think outside the box. Like, again, watch Red Dawn 1984. I want to address something. B Queen 608081 says Mexicans have skills with their hands. So do Black men. At one time, vocational school was in high school. You took auto or wood shop. You guys want to know one of the reasons why they took that out of vocational schools in high school? Because young Black men and some women were opening their own shops and keeping it within our own community. So they wanted to put a stop to that. So how do you put a stop to that? You take auto shop and you take wood shop out of schools. So then now you have to go to somebody else to fix your car and fix your house up and all that other stuff.
Yeah, and that's really too. I'm going to say this. My brother, My oldest brother, Walter, he never went to school to be a mechanic, but he knows how to fix cars because my dad was a mechanic and my dad took him under his wing and showed him how to fix cars. He was at the shop when he was 5 years old, getting greasy and all of that. So I say that to say, if there was never in vocational school was good, you should try to do those things. But, we need the men, and this is no shade to the men. Please don't get tender. But we need the men to come back into the fold and get these children, these boys, right, and teach them something. It's not what I don't want to or did. Nah, I didn't. Did I ask you? Did I ask you what you want? See, that's the daddy I had. I didn't ask you. I gave you a directive. Now you get over here, little boy, or whatever. Get these wrenches or screwdrivers or whatever, and this is what we do. That's how it is. See, the problem nowadays with parents, y'all asking permission of your children. Well, would you? No. So then when I came up, and I'll be 55 soon, when I came up, you was told what to do. And wished you would talk about, well, what I don't and why you just did it. See, when we get back to that and stop being, as my nephew would say, 5-letter kitty cats, when it comes to parenting our children, we're going to have a game changer. But see, the problem is, listen, I'm going to say this. I told my daughter I was going to mind my business, but listen. I went to the Houston rodeo Friday to see Lizzo. Now, I was not trying to go because what did I tell y'all the other day? Stay out of large crowds, okay? My daughter had some tickets she couldn't sell because originally her and her friends were going to go, but friends couldn't make it for whatever reason. She had all these tickets. She's like, Mom, we can't let the tickets go to where she got to go with me. So we went and saw Lizzo. Fabulous concert. I will say this, but I would also say I was sad, okay? Because I saw mostly Black women with the most deplorable outfits on. Now I know it's the rodeo. I thought rodeo, if you dress like a cowgirl, cowboy, you have on a long skirt and a shirt. But I damn near seen booty holes. Okay, that's just how bad it was. Everything was tight, zhugged, too small. It was just the most. Now, mind you, if you go to a rodeo or a fair, it's a family affair. So you got people from all walks of life, age groups, all kinds. And it was some white girls, but not from what I see many. But I mostly seen Black women from all ages, young, old, men, dressed like prostitutes. Yes, I said it, right? And so as I'm talking to my daughter, I'm like the Black woman, not all. Them over there have lost her damn mind. Why are you outside like that? Right? So I say that to say that the women have stopped teaching their daughters how to be appropriate. Where are the grandmamas? And there were some grandmamas there. And one lady she had to be in her 60s, had on a negligee. Where the grandmamas and the aunties that say, no, ma'am, you going to the rodeo or the rodeo? Where are you going? Right? So I'm saying that we got to start teaching again. Now, I will say, your girl, when I go, I was there dressed from head to toe. I had a hat. I didn't take no pictures. It wasn't. I had a white man, not that this matters. But my daughter said, you ain't going to never stop telling the story. I had a white man come up to me. He says, if you don't mind me saying, you look spectacular. I kid you not. This is what he said to me as we was leaving the concert. Now, mind you, I was dressed from head to toe, long pants, boots, and you name it.
I need you to start wearing those gloves on your hands. That's too much skin showing. Yeah.
But I look good, though. But I had all my clothes on. And I said, I had all my clothes on against all these women that were butthole naked. And he came up to me and said, I look spectacular. Which illustrates you can have clothes on, ladies, and still be all right. There's no judgment. But I was maddened by I was there for probably 2 hours or so. And this is all I saw. I saw ass, titties, just you name it. I'm like,
how often is this rodeo?
It's still going on, Donovan.
Okay.
But excuse my language, but I just couldn't. I was just like, when did the Black woman lose her mind altogether? When? So we got to get back into these, whether you're a man teaching your son how to be men and some skills, whether you're a woman and you teaching your daughters how to be cute, but have some clothes. Like this is on us at this point. Because I should have never saw that much skin at the rodeo. I should have never seen it. It's sad.
But see, it goes back to the foolish things like this, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but if you take it as disrespect, that's on you. B Queen 6081 says, stop with the lies and excuses, as known as the Black Yul Brynner. Saying that another group could work with their hands and Black people can't see that's our problem. You've got people in our community that will tear the community down rather than tell the truth. Before all of these illegals came over here, who do you think built the country, B Queen 6081? Because what you're saying, for somebody who's supposed to be a queen, you definitely ain't looking over your kingdom and running your kingdom down. Who built this country? It was Black men. Most of those construction jobs in the 60s and 70s, who do you think did those construction jobs? It was Black men. Because most of your immigrants, especially if they're across the border, were working in the fields. And some of them still do it to this very day. But see, it's clowns like this that come on shows and bring the narrative down. I mean, we're already negative as it is, but lies and excuses. Show me somebody where I've lied in excuse and say that Black men can work with their hands. Demetra's father was an auto mechanic. I was a mechanic, aircraft mechanic in the military. So where's the lies, B Queen?
Avenging Ancestors, I do not see any super chats at all. Donovan, have you seen any? I haven't seen it, and I see all the comments on my end, but I haven't seen any. So I don't know if it's just not working from your end. But if you are doing that, and I don't see them, I apologize for that. I really do. I don't see any on my end. But thank you in advance, or if you tried to do that, it just didn't work. But yeah, I don't see them. Do you guys see the super chats as well? And I'm just not seeing them. But my apologies, sincerely.
Yeah, and real quick, Angela Caraway, excuse me, I said that wrong. She said a thing to B Queen. If Mexicans were so good with their hands, why couldn't they use their own skills and fix their own country? Thank you. Hello. Fix their own country up instead of coming here and taking our resources and our jobs. This is why I've been saying, and a lot of people have been saying, illegal immigration hurts Black people, because who takes those jobs? In this system, Blacks are at the bottom. There's no disputing that. This system is built with us being at the bottom. So back in the day, and even till today, that McDonald's job back in the day, that was usually a Black person at the counter. The sky cap, when they used to have sky caps, that was usually the Black person. The porter on the train, that was usually a Black person. These entry-level jobs was Black jobs first. If you let other groups come in here and take those jobs, what's the Black man supposed to do?
Well, I'm glad you asked. The Black man's supposed to build his own job. That's what the Black man is supposed to do. My daddy said, as long as you got this and you got these, you should always be able to eat, right? I'm working on something. I just got to finish it. But boy, listen, the Black man can, okay? The Black man has to create his own means of income, like the Black man did right off the plantations. We had our own towns, we had our own everything. Of course, we know what happened when people were jealous, they tore it up, but we ain't back there no more, right? Our ancestors' heart didn't pump Kool-Aid then, but it shouldn't anyway. So the Black man has got to eat and fend for ourselves. We did it before they put us on those plantations and conditioned us into thinking we couldn't. And even after we got out the plantations, we went and did it. See, we need to get back there. But the problem is, as Carter G. Woodson explained in the miseducation of the Negro, we stopped teaching, we stopped learning, we have stopped, doing for ourselves. We went off, got these fancy degrees. We don't fix cars no more. We don't have the basic stuff that we need. There's 10 Black grocery stores in America from the last time I looked. 10 grocery stores that are Black owned. Okay, 50 million of us go into these Black stores? No, we'd be all day starving to death trying to eat. So we have to do for ourselves. That is the answer. Nobody, whether it's a Democrat, a Republican, or whatever, has ever wanted to save the Black man and woman in America. Do you know that it was prophesied that we would be extinct? They wanted us to be extinct before they came up with sending us to Liberia, and they said, no, we gonna need them. Then they started filling the prisons up with us, right? So they're never going to rescue us. We are who we are waiting on. We are. Right? Brother Ty says, greetings, Demetri and Donovan. It sounds like you're cooking something, sis. Cooking up. Well, you know, I ain't cooking that right now because I'm doing Ramadan. I gotta wait till the sun go down. But if figuratively speaking, yes. Yes. The rodeo or the rodeo. I was like, what are we doing? Did I come to the wrong place? What I'm always like I don't want to say overdressed. I dress appropriately because as I was explaining to somebody the other day, you know, like Donovan, he'll say, oh, you need to stand up. No, I ain't gonna do that. Okay. Because I'm 55 almost. I might as well just say I'm 55. I'll be 55 next month. And listen, we got enough women my age doing the most. Okay. I look forward to the grandmas. Now, listen, you ain't got to wear the polyester and all that unless it's funky and fly. But I'm all right with resting in my auntie-ness, if you will. I don't have any grandchildren yet. But I'm all right with being the auntie because if I'm not the auntie, and I'm dressed appropriately and speaking appropriately and and all that, who's gonna teach the kids? Who are the young women gonna look up to? Right? Grandma, she flouses, she out there booty showing and like grandmas that got kids saying granny is out there twerking and showing her whole behind. My grandmas didn't look nothing like that. Donovan, I know your grandma didn't look like that. Like our grandmas you could tell you could tell the grandmas from the young women. You can't tell them nowadays. Like I said, my daddy gone. I think I could say this. My dad used to always say nowadays, you can't tell the hoe from the housewife. And that's sad. It's very sad. So somebody got to be the example. Right? The haunted house, John. Did I say hi to you? Not hello. Roxanne was going on. She says, Grandma here, I taught my children and my grandchildren how to dress. Yes, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in growing older and growing wiser. You can still be fine at 55, 65, 75, 95. You can still be fine. But you got to teach your grandbaby something. I'm just saying, it's like it comes to a point.
One of the things we got to start teaching our grandbabies and great grandbabies is the word no. If you can't afford it, you just can't afford it. The word no, just no. Is it a want or is it a need? Ladies, and again, I'm going to say this again. There are a lot of young mothers out here who have gone into debt so they can give their kids a good Christmas, which to me is not economically sound to do that. And we got a lot of ignorant fathers out there that are putting themselves in the debt for a want or just a highball and say they did this, they did that. We got to start being realistic and start using the word no.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. I love and appreciate you for that. I says we're here. I'm putting up a dub. I know that's right. Thank you. Thank you. So I do see these, right? I see these. And I see this one. This one as well. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Love and appreciate you for that. But yeah, Vision Answers, I haven't seen anything. Maybe it's just, I don't know, something on YouTube or whatever. But I promise you, if I saw it, I would definitely put them up as I want to show appreciation for those who, everything that y'all do for the show. I love and appreciate you for it. Kelvin, how you doing? Says Trump works for the billionaires. They run the country and told him to start this war to distract from Epstein. You know what's so crazy is the Iranian government. They call it the American government the Epstein regime. They call them the Epstein regime, like the foreign leader. Here's what he refers to him as, the Epstein regime. So I think even they know, like, come on now, y'all doing all of this because y'all don't want to have this conversation. Now, I don't know if y'all saw or heard about the file that they eventually found of the woman. But now, I don't know how true any of this is, so I say alleged. But in the FBI files, the woman alleged that Epstein, in a sense, gave her to Trump, and Trump tried to make her do something. Let's just say she bit him, and then he, punched her in her head, and there's a lot going on there. So that was the file that you just happened to re-find again. It's like, well, why would you lose that one? I mean, I get it, but there's a lot to be considered here. But yeah, they call them the Epstein regime. That's wild. You in a potential World War III, and they're likening the United States government to the Epstein regime. Well, damn.
Yeah, and you guys also got to remember, those that are worried and concerned, the reason why they haven't committed troops yet or anything like that, Iran is very mountainous, and it's very hard to fight a mountain type, warfare. It's very difficult, especially when the home team knows the terrain, and we really don't. We are our military is trained for urban warfare, so we could do that. But up in those mountains, there's going to be doing a lot of bombing, and we're not talking about dumb bombs. We're talking about $1 million bombs. So yes, the bill will go out, and it will be due. And guess who? Even though we have no say so in it, guess who's going to be a part of paying for all of that? We are our grandchildren.
And they said some of those missiles cost over $1 million a piece.
No, every missile that we have in our arsenal now, we don't have dumb bombs anymore. We have very few dumb bombs. Everything is over $1 million plus.
I saw one that was like 3 million. And so with that, they say even though the United States is the superpower, eventually they'll run out of ammo too, because remember, they've given some to Ukraine and, Israel and all of that. And so they want to fight Iran. And then the foreign leader there, the video, he was like, the stuff we've been using is the old stuff. He was like, y'all ain't seen. He said, y'all ain't seen nothing yet.
Well, here's the funny thing. Those of us that are military and we kind of know if you're in the know, and even if you're not in the military, if you noticed, they are bombarding Israel and then all these countries that have this $1 trillion armored shield to protect their country, right? And they're shooting all these little dumb bombs down that cost probably like $10,000 a drone, right? And you're overwhelming the system. So once they overwhelm the system, Iran has hypersonic missiles. So it's just a matter, once all of that is exhausted, Israel's going to have no more weapons to defend themselves against in the shield part. That shield's going to be vulnerable. Then the hypersonic missiles are going to start coming in.
Yeah. So, and I know people are saying this has nothing to do with us. It does. Like, I always say this. I remember, and y'all remember too, y'all ain't that young. Some of y'all probably are, but back in the day, we have to do current events. We all used to have to do current events once a week. You have to bring in a newspaper article, and you get up in front of the class and you tell people, this is why. And then, I remember doing it kind of, all throughout my, high school years, elementary, whatever it is. And sometimes you wonder, well, this is stupid. Why do we have to do this? And I understand now as an adult, because you're supposed to be abreast world affairs, because a lot of things that happen across the globe, it does affect us. And we will be hit the hardest with it, because we don't, as let's see, crypto, what's your name? Let's see. Crypto Jojo, and how you doing, by the way, says, why everything got to affect Black people? Shaking my head. We ain't got nothing to do with Iran. We got to stop having that victim mindset. This could be about how to teach people importance of group economics. Well, we do teach about group economics a lot over here, but it is going to affect us. See, we got to get out of that mindset. It's not about us being victims. It's about us not being prepared. That's what this is about. I'm not saying we should be a victim standpoint. If we were coming from a victim standpoint, I would say, oh, they got to do something for us. I'm saying we need to empower ourselves. That's what I'm saying, because as Sister Muhammad said in this book here, let me see, do I have it up here? This book here, she says, she listed a lot of excuses that people will come up with. Oh, well, my church gonna help me. She said, no, they're not. A lot of churches and mosques, they barely standing as it is, because people aren't going into the churches and mosques, or synagogues like they used to. So they're not bringing the money. People aren't tithing and things like that anymore. So the church is going to eventually have to say, well, the benevolent fund is low now. I don't know what to tell you. So you need to be able to do for yourself. So I'm not telling us to be victims. I'm telling us not to be victims. But unfortunately, because I don't know what's wrong with us. I can speculate, but we actually got to get out of the victim mindset. So I hope I'm not, coming off like that. And Brother Easy said, horrors in Black cities are an epidemic. Oh, Lord. You'll be surprised. There's that way in the church too sometimes. Hope I didn't say too much. Roxanne, how you doing? Says, as a grandma, I'm growing older gracefully, and I'm trying to be an example for our young people in the community. We got enough old, the loader deans out there. She's still trying to be hot and popping, right? Now, Gloater Dean, we need you to come back home and start teaching these girls how to be women, right? How to be ladies and women, okay? Because you can be a woman and not be a lady. But teach them how to be ladies. Teach them how to put the right underclothes on and the right upper clothes and, all of that, right? We just have to. And like I said, maybe because I'm old and I remember the days of having good grandmas and mamas and the aunties and stuff. Yeah, I've never seen any of my grandmothers, my mamas and aunties. I never saw them outside looking a hot ass mess. Never.
Do young girls wear slips anymore?
They don't wear clothes no more, let alone slip.
Right, right. Our good buddy African Native says, I saw pastors praying. Excuse me. I saw pastors praying for Trump and asking God to cover him with the blood of his son, Jesus Christ, at the Oval Office. Well, yeah, you got to remember at the end of the day, if you're a believer or not, they say all of these despots and criminals that are leading there, they're put there by God for a reason. So and this is just me personally, African Native, I actually believe Trump was brought back into power for a reason. And I believe one of the reasons was to wake Black people up. And number two, to show the world what America is really about. All of these leaders that are in power, they are put there by God and I can only speak for the Christian faith, or at least my faith as a Catholic. And that's what we're taught. So.
Oh yeah, you said some bombs cost $1 million, but we can't get reparations. Get the out of here. They got the bread to pay out. Stop playing. Yeah, they got the money. Donovan says it all the time. The military budget is the most expensive budget in the United States, and for obvious reasons. But even with that, the United States is going to run out eventually. So then what? Right? So a lot of experts are saying, like I said, I listen to this stuff all day long because I'm just interested to see what happened. A lot of the experts is like, yeah, Trump thought this was going to be one and done. Right, they was gonna drop it on him, and Iran was gonna say, "Okay, well, I guess you got us there." But I think we forget that they born to do this, right? Because Iran is more or less like, if we tap out, it'll be a next time and a next time, and we're not gonna just let the United States and Israel run roughshod all over us. Either we'll stand or we're not gonna stand. But if we're not gonna allow them to take us over, because we're just not, right? So. United States and in Israel. I mean, they've been, messing with Palestine and fighting Hamas and all that other stuff. So yeah, they thought Iran was going to bend the knee.
Yeah, but isn't it funny that Gaza, as wiped out as it is now, it's been leveled to a place to where they can start building construction for resorts and stuff. Isn't that strange?
Isn't it strange? Marvin, how you doing? It says, I saw somewhere that Iran was releasing Black American soldiers only. Yeah, this was back in the day. And most of these governments and wars that we've been in have said that to the Black man. Hey, listen, Vietnam especially, this ain't got nothing to do with you. Go home. Hey, our fight ain't your fight, because they say we know. And this is what Ayatollah Khamenei, or maybe Khamenei, same, different names. They said, we know what your government does to you back home, right? The America ain't kind to you, so they send you over here and gonna put you on the front lines to Q, right? So go home.
Yeah, and that's that could be a reason, but you guys want to know the real reason why Black soldiers are let go and stuff? The real reason is, and I was taught this when I went to SEER school. If I was with my troops and we got shot down, right? I was told I would be shot dead on the spot, while the other people will be taken hostage in certain scenarios, right? And in a lot of scenarios. You guys want to know why that is? Because Black people have no value as a hostage. You're not Richie Cunningham. You're not Obama's son. Unless you're connected to somebody that they know of, a Black hostage has no value. And I was told that in my face. What would happen to me if I actually got shot down, depending on what country it was or whatever. But Black people have no value as a hostage. That is why either they're going to shoot you or they're going to release you, because you have no value. Because notice, they won't release the white guy. They won't release the Asian, whatever. But Black folks, you guys can go because you have no value. Because America, Jesse Jackson, under Ronald Reagan, he had to go over to what country was that, Libya or Yemen and stuff, to get that Black Navy pilot, because Reagan wasn't going to do it. Reagan was like, nah, we're good. You could keep them. We have no value. And that's pretty much the reason why.
Absolutely. Back in the day, I was trying to become a correctional officer. And I passed everything. I did the 3-panel interview. It was 3-panel back then. They give you like psychological exams. I don't know. It sounds like they're not doing it no more. But and one of the things they said was, you don't get to carry guns in here. And I was like, yeah, I know that, because if the prisoner get it or whatever, like they have somebody in the tower or whatever, but you don't get to carry a weapon. And they said, so also, if they take you hostage, we don't negotiate for hostages. And they said, it could be weeks before we get you out of here, and they say, the things that they do. And I was like, what you mean?
Attica.
Yeah. I was like, what you mean? You ain't gonna negotiate for little old me? It's like, no, we can't, because if we do that for one, we'll have to do it for all, right? And so prisoners will know that we can just snatch up COs up in here and then we'll get what we want because they want them back. They said, we'll try, but we're not giving their demands, what they want. And so I was like, yeah, about that. Now, I didn't pass the physical anyway. I had 2 other chances to do it. But I was like, no, I ain't going to be doing that because that hostage thing stuck in my mind. I was like, yeah, no, you ain't finna have me up in there bending me over 30 ways the next Sunday. I don't think so. But to your point, yeah, there's certain people they in certain situations they not going to negotiate for. But you're right, Donovan. You rarely even hear about prisoners of war being held captive that are Black. So yeah, that's something to think about. Zelma, how you doing? Says these are sick people to think they can or to think that they can dictate to our Iranian leaders. And what they trying to, Trump says, if we don't like the leader, then we're gonna continue to do what we're doing. And Iran is like, listen, we're not listening to you. Okay. You're not even listening to you. Then Trump running around talking about, oh yeah, the casualties is gonna be more. We hope not that much more, but it's kind of like, dude, what are you saying?
But I want you guys to think about this too. Every time everybody else has been serviced, the LGBTQ got something, the illegals got something, the Asians got something, the dreamers got something, Afghans got something, Somalis got something. Once everybody has been taken care of, then it's time for the Black folks, right? We sat at the back of the line. We finally got to the front, right? Then what happens? Oh, we're in a war. Hey, Black folks, we need you to just wait a little bit longer because, this is more important. We got to go do this. But there's money for all these other people. But now they're taking all of this money on the credit card and they're going to war. Every time Black people's time to be served, because they can't get around reparations now. That's not a conversation that's going to go away. The Black homelessness, all of these issues that we need, every time it's time for the government to address Black issues, something comes up. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I would concede that, but I just think, like Kevin said, I heard that all that oil that Trump took Venezuela was given it to Israel. This is terrible. If it's true, I think it's true. Benjamin Netanyahu got Trump to attack them. Yeah, that's always been a plan. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talked about it years ago that U.S. will allow Israel to drag them into a war with Iran, and we have seen that unfold. So it's just like, I don't know. And he also said with that, United States will not be the same. It will not, as you know it, it will never be the same. And we're seeing that, right? There's a lot of people talking about how Trump and them are panicking, right? They're panicking because they thought that Iran would bend the knee and just say, oh, okay, we're going to surrender. But I think if you know the nature of them, they're like, we'd rather it all go up and smoke with everybody in it before we bend the knee. But they're more or less like, guarantee you what, y'all gonna suffer some horrific losses as well. And they put the word out. They did before, but they reissued the word that, oh yeah, Trump, we on your head. We looking for you specifically. So of course, y'all heard last week, Trump basically said, oh, well, if you do something to me, it's gonna be this. It's like, well, how would you know if they do it, right? I don't know. So that's the back and forth that's going on. But to think, well, as the United States, we can go take out y'all leader, but if you do something to our leader, it's like, that's hubris in a sense. You think you're special, you think you're better, right? So And I don't know if y'all been seeing too on some of these planes where people been getting up talking about we got the kaboom on the plane. So whether you believe in sleeper cells or not, I honestly think that they were already here before Biden even got into office. Because as the foreign leader said in Iran, we already knew this day was coming. We knew when they was messing with Saddam in Iraq that we would be next eventually. So we've already been preparing for this to come. So it just depends on what you believe. Are there sleeper cells here? Hell yeah.
And you guys got to remember, if you guys know your history, the Iraq-Iran war was fought over what? Not because they didn't like each other. Iran was side drilling into the oil reserves of Iran. And he thought he had to go ahead to attack Iraq, thought they had the go ahead to attack Iran. We backed Iraq, all that other stuff. Iran sits on a lot of oil. So once again, oil is in play in Venezuela, Libya. Now we're in Iran. We already took out Iraq. Isn't this kind of strange? And see, and a lot of us know what's going on, but yet our representatives do not say a word about this.
Absolutely. And you know what too? Absolutely, Bernard. And you know what too is because they know most of us don't pay attention. Like I was saying earlier, this is not the sexy stuff. Nobody wants to hear about what's going on overseas until and I told this to somebody earlier. I said, you know, when people gonna start listening, not just Black Americans, but when people gonna start listening, when they go to the pump and gas is $6 a gallon. God, why gas so high? You ain't been paying attention. You don't watch the news. You don't know all them oil tankers are shut down, on fire. That's what they spent yesterday doing. They been Israel, the United States, and you know Iran. They're bombing each other's tankers and energy sources. It's because what Iran is doing. They're saying, okay, bet we got Israel. We can reach them, right? But we can't reach the United States, so we gonna touch all the bases and the consulates and the embassies that are set up in all these countries near us. We gonna touch them. That's where, and so all these other countries are like, wait a minute, United States. They're even thinking about telling the United States, hey, come get your bases, come get your peoples, because now we're, this is by proxy or whatever. We're supposed to pass the word to you that, hey, they just blew up a building over here. So they're rethinking their relationship with the United States now.
And you got to think about it. Iran also is hitting tourist areas. A lot of these countries depend on the tourism dollar and thing that's going on there. And of course, Britain did not want to go along and let United States have bases on the initial go in. So I think it was today, the B-1 bombers landed at a few bases in England.
Yeah, and there's even some in the UK is like, yeah, Trump, I don't know why you mess with them people like that. Okay, I don't know why, because they don't want to get involved. Now, of course, the other word on the curb is, and the foreign leader was like, well, of course, is that China and Russia are helping Iran with intelligence, because a lot of their satellites and things like that have been, pulverized, for lack of better words. So people are like, Russia and China have to be helping them, because how do they know where to strike and where to go and who is doing what? And so the foreign leaders like, yeah, they're helping us. It's not a secret, because if you know, and I don't know a lot, but just kind of from what I've been seeing and reading, it's going to cause, they said Japan right now is digging into their energy reserves, their oil, like they've saved up, because they're not getting nothing's moving through the strait there in Hormuz, right? So they're now being affected by it. Japan is not necessarily in it, but all these other countries are like, wait a minute, now you shut down, you kidnapped Venezuela, you shut down Cuba, now you're messing with Mexico, and now you're in Iran, where all this oil is coming from. So eventually, if you're paying attention, the United States is like, we're getting a stronghold on all this, and now we control the way the rest of the world moves. And so, yeah, Russia and China's like, yeah, okay, move left, now go right. Now they, of course they are, because eventually, Donovan, you can tell me, you know better than I. How long are China and Russia going to be able to hold off before they actually directly get involved? Because Ukraine is now saying, okay, United States, We'll help you, shoot down the missiles and stuff. Now, mind you, they're in a whole war with Russia right now for 4 years already.
Well, let's go. Like I said, people got to know their history. Let's go back to World War I. What happened when one country got attacked? It initiated the other country that's an ally, that initiated the other country that's an ally, and they all jumped in it because they had treaties, among each other that escalated the war to a worldwide situation. So it's not beyond pale that this exact scenario could happen again right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said people need to really pay attention. Again, I know this ain't the sexy stuff, but I don't know. I just find this to be something we should be paying attention to. Albert Chill says, I'm glad the folks will be the face of the catastrophe, not us. Yeah, well, they're going to try to pump that fake patriotism into everybody. Oh, you got to go. Nah, because you didn't have to take yourself over there messing with them people, okay? Yeah, everybody know you don't mess with Iran. Leave it. If you going to mess with anybody, don't mess with them, okay? Because they with the stuff, right? And if you really believe that they got nuclear weapons, why are you messing with them?
Right. And did you hear the son of the Shah? And, Dimitri, we were old enough when the Shah got deposed and stuff, and he came over here, his family and stuff like that. The son of the Shah was in an interview where he says that he is ready to go back and take control of the country. So, and this is what we do in America, the CIA and all this other stuff. We put people that are happy with us. Now, I want you to think about this. Iran 50 years ago did a revolution to oust the Shah because the Shah was a despot. He was a very brutal dictator, right? Backed by the United States. That's why they have F-14s. We were one of his biggest armament sellers. Now this guy's talking about, his son is talking about he's ready to go back and take control. Why would Iran go back and put this dude back on the throne? Nothing's new under the sun, you guys. You just got to pay attention. So that's what I'm saying. It goes back to paying attention. It's not sexy, but look at the treasure that we have to spend to put this idiot back on the throne to brutalize his people again. And possibly he'll get overthrown within 10, 15 years of sitting on there if we put him back in the power.
Yes, the one, if I didn't already, how you doing? He said, Kamala, I'm saying right. Kamala said she warned us she was always hip to the game. Well, I read her book, okay? And all throughout this book, you know what she said? I will always defend Israel's right to defend themselves. I will always stand up for them. All throughout this book, she said that. Now, I'm saying that to say is because that's kind of the talking point. Kamala was right. But listen, whether they're Republican, a Democrat, Trump, or Kamala, they are all in like Flynn when it comes to people over there in the Middle East, okay? They are all willing, whether it was Jasmine, what somebody people say is James Tallarico, maybe not as much as Jasmine. They're even calling Jasmine genocide Jasmine because they all, when I say all, the Republicans and the Democrats agreed to give Israel more money recently and weapons. So when you say Kamala tried to warn us, Kamala wasn't going to do anything different. Do you know who she married to? So she said, I will always defend their right to defend themselves. So don't ever, she's saying this with her, this is her book, and she's saying this all throughout this book. So I'm just saying, because I hear that a lot. Oh, Kamala tried to warn us. Kamala, she got the same old talking points. It just sounds a little bit different. I promise you. Todd says, interesting, though, that Iran has been here for about 3,000 years or more, and U.S. coming up on 250. Iran playing the long game. Yeah, and that's what people don't understand. They say, oh, United States, it's chestnut checkers. No, they a bully. And they thought they were going to go and kaboop, and that'll show them. They'll stop. And they was like, listen, like the foreign minister said, y'all said that the last time. We were supposed to already have a ceasefire, so you want us to continue to agree in the stuff that you ain't going to agree to? Like it comes to a point where we just do, like in a sense, Iran is saying we're men and we're going to die like one. We're not going to tap out and all this other foolishness that everybody else is doing. God love them, but they're like, we're not in a position where we got to do that just yet. See, Venezuela and them, they're a little bit of, tiny. Iran is a big country. I don't know if you've seen it on the map. We was watching the news the other day. My daughter's like, wow, Iran is huge. So, and they got almost 100 million people there. So it's not like it's a little tiny little, you know, Rudy Poo, you know, butt country. They like, no, we've been knowing. So, but the media, yeah, they gonna tell you, oh, United States, Iran is like, okay.
Right, but look at it on the other side. See, I always attach things to logic. My logic goes first. If this thing is successful, right? If it's successful, whatever the deal is, it is a fact that Iran is the biggest exporter of terror and all this other stuff, whatever they're doing, right? If it does work, would that make the world a bit safer? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think so. But the point is, though, we wouldn't have as much problems as we did with Iraq. Now, look what's going on in Iraq. We have influence there. We don't have as much problems as far as foreign policy with the Kurds and, you know, them brutalizing their people and doing whatever they're doing there. So this is going to be interesting as we follow this. Like you said, paying attention. If this works, maybe it'll be less money that we have to export to keep that person contained, and maybe we could keep some of that money here. So there's all kinds of ways of looking at this.
Yeah, and Brother Jonelle, like you said, the nations will start to turn against America. And we're starting to see that. Yeah, the England or UK or whatever, they like, I mean, there's some that's kind of trying to, yeah, we're with you, America. I think France may be one of them, but the rest of them are like, listen, we don't know why you went over there messing with them people. Okay. Now we're all involved in your foolishness, you know. Skamala, that's crazy. Yeah, but she was talking the same stuff. She would have been no different. Albert just says, she's a part of the program. I don't understand how you don't see that. I don't either. I mean, she's not hiding that. I will always defend Israel's right, you know. Marta, what's going on? She says Little Rock, Arkansas in the building. Yes, indeed. Angela says exactly. She said that and meant that, and she represent that case closed. Yeah, Brother Donnell says majority of us think America and Israel have ruled forever, and it barely has a day. Come on now. Says sober up, do the math, stock up. Revelations 18:4. Consider the time 13. So yeah, but people are, because when I say we collectively, we're propagandized, right? Oh, you know, the United States, hey, my mom used to
Operation Mockingbird.
Yeah,
government control over the media. It's still in existence.
My mama said this saying all the time. She says the bigger the bully, the harder they fall. She always used to say that. So point being is, no matter how big and bad you may be, oh yeah, everybody's got his day. There's a bully for the bully, believe it or not. Right. And the bully may not. And you think about David and Goliath, the bully for the bully may not be as big as the bully, you know, but as many have said, this is all, you know, divinity here. God has the final say so. And we're watching this all unfold. I mean, how long do you think the West or people like them can continue doing what they're doing without any consequence? If you believe in the law of nature, the Bible, whatever, you got to get what you put out there. But it's hubris that, you know, the United States or even Israel to think we're going to continue doing what we're doing with no consequences. Y'all heard Trump say a few times, oh no, I don't think I'm going to heaven. What he know, we don't know. Dewan says in an interview with Rachel Maddow, Kamala said Trump was trying to take us to war with Iran. Yeah, now she might not have been trying to do that, but I don't think Trump was trying to do that either. But you know, they pay masters. The ones that put the key in their back said it's time to go to war, right? And if you look at this war, we weren't going because of something they did to us necessarily. We were going, and Marco Rubio said it himself, right? He was contradicting the message. He says, oh, well, the United States got involved because we heard that Israel was going to do something. So we got involved. And what was the words they used? There's two of them. Preemptive strikes. Those are the words that they used.
Which is known as the Bush doctrine. Correct. You're going to hit somebody. You're going to hit somebody first because you feel they're going to hit you.
Right. So that's what Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, said. Well, we heard Israel was going to do it, so we did it. So because we didn't want the Iran to do something to us. So whether Kamala was not going to want to herself go to a war with Iran, It wasn't going to be her choice. Just like I don't think it's Trump's choice. Because what do they know that we don't know about Trump? Right? And if you believe what they're saying about Epstein and who he really was he really a spy? Was he really taking notes? Was he really luring people into these, nefarious situations and saying, I know what you did last summer?
Well, I mean, you got Harvey Weinstein and all these things that go on in these Hollywood parties and stuff. You got Whoopi Goldberg's name is alleged in there. All these Hollywood people are in there. And for me, that tells me this is some type of intel thing. So
you would think, right? Like, what else could it be? I mean, how is it that you have, what did they say, over 3 million emails? What you doing with all them emails, man? What you doing? Unless you're collecting information. And see, that's the other thing people don't realize is, and I tell this to people all the time, you might have thought rather that you erased these emails and these text messages. I mean, if you watch the Diddy trial, they went back in the gap. And he probably thought he erased all those emails, Cassie, all of them. They was like, no, in 2001 or 1997. It's like, you found those? Oh, yeah, they might not be on your phone, but they in there, they somewhere.
Yeah, it can never, like they say, it can never be erased. Once it's on the internet or it's on the, even on the emails and stuff like that, it never gets erased. It's always going to be available.
Hey, El Booty, you say Iran plus China plus Russia equals axis of Eastern world powers. I don't know. That was a little over my head.
You don't have India in there. India is a big power in that region.
And you know why? And they are. And people don't ever think about India because you hear all the, the low hanging propaganda, if you want. Some of it's probably true, but about India. But it's like, you don't ever hear nobody talking about they going over there and getting it with India. Why? Because they like, y'all believe the hype. We don't, and golden eyes.
Yeah, a lot of people say America's on its way down. Well, if you look at the history books, World War II was our epic. We've been going down ever since. We have not won any wars or any operations since then. America has just been running roughshod over the globe, and we're not the same country as we were ever since World War II. It's been downhill ever since.
Yep. Diane, how you doing? Says we are the country that's going around getting everybody's business. So we got coming. Yeah, it's been a long time making. It's just, and they're trying their best to avert what they got coming. They be in the West, but that you can't do all the horrible things you've done to people all over the world and think, well, we ain't got to get that back. Oh no. I mean, think about the simple concept of when people do something wrong. They do what? They lock them up because it's a punishment. It's a consequence. You got to understand it, learn your lesson. Well, if you, as the system, y'all lock people up for crimes and stuff. Well, you don't think you ever got to get what you've done back. That's not how that works.
Do you guys want to know what's crazy? If you've been following that, Elaine Maxwell said that she would testify under certain circumstances and certain privileges or even a pardon. Why haven't they, you have to go to the source. She was the right-hand woman, right? Ask yourself that. If you're the president and this person is going to get justice for the victims and this person is willing to testify under certain circumstances that you could make happen, why haven't they done that yet? Who are these people protecting, Republican or Democrat? Do you see what I'm saying? These people are all in it together. She has said she is willing to testify under certain guidelines and principles and possibly a pardon.
Yeah, and again, you got to remember, like I said, they moved her already to a minimum security. They said she got a puppy she could play with, and she getting kind of special privileges and food. And she's like, yeah, you can get me out of here. I'll play ball. I'll say whatever y'all want to say. It's like you kind of supposed to keep that on the low. You ain't supposed to let that get out, And Brother Jonah says they was just bombing Pakistan yesterday, and now Israel just looks just like took a bomb and sent out of Pakistan, and with them scratching and fighting to find the bomb shelters, right? As BB relax and watch from Germany. So to your point, they said that the Israelis are running in and out of those bomb shelters all day and night. They said, especially at night, several times a night,
It's like a call to prayer in the Muslim world, you know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They are running. They said they are getting up in the middle of the night and running that, so they ain't getting no sleep. Okay, because they're like they hear those it's like you know, because at first when it first jumped off and Trump dropped the bomb or Israel or whoever it was, they had they was in those bomb shelters and they partying and dancing and having a good time. That was on day one. It's like now you I remember Bugs Bunny when he was tired and his eyes were circling. Now they're like, okay, we ain't got the energy to be celebrating and dancing like you're literally celebrating as they, took out all those little girls at the elementary school, right? So it's like, you're celebrating that?
Right. And then if you think about it, who benefits from taking Iran out of play? Israel will dominate the Middle East, basically. They would dominate the Middle East.
And that's been the plan. That's been the plan. Marjorie says the political parties are both corrupt and have been since the beginning of their reign. Says they convince each other, connive each other, destroying each other's lives because of power and money. They're always competitive. Yep. And then the thing is too, they're, Israel and the United States are conspiring together. Who's to say how long it's going to take for they turn on each other? MBD says Rand Corp, Council on Foreign Relations, Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, Carlyle Group, etc. Presidents don't write or draft policies. Come on now. They puppets. So that's why I said if it'd have been Trump or Kamala, whichever one took office. Beverly says Jeff Epstein was a blackmailer. At this point, he has to be. Like, what else could it be, right? African Native says for rich black people, they proceed with the arrest. For rich white people, they proceed with the talks. Yeah, they do. El Buddha says India supports Israel and are ass kissers. Okay, so that could be why as well. Brother Jay, how you doing? Thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Says Democrats created Trump, Elon, and are pro-war and are for corporation lobbyists and the wealthy and vehemently anti-black. They replace us via in your comment cut off. Eduardo, how you doing? Edward, rather. You say bottom line, Trump trying to cover up all the demonic behavior he did in the Epstein files. And I don't think it's just Trump. I think it's a whole lot of them. Right? Trump is just the one that's in power now. And, his name is coming up because he's the puppet. We got to dangle the stuff out there to keep you, telling us yes.
And I agree with that person's comment. But, I just think it's kind of strange how we keep talking about, oh, Trump ain't doing this, Trump ain't doing that. If I remember, Demetra, Joe Biden was in for 4 years and he didn't release a damn thing. It's like, why? It's like people want to give the smoke to one side when you should be giving the smoke to both sides. Biden didn't release anything. Why did he do that if he had nothing to do with it?
Right. Black advocate, Dial Bali. I see you kind of mad about some things. He says the lame AI picture for your channel shows you are not serious. Lame AI picture for my channel. What AI picture are you talking about? I don't have no AI picture on my channel. That's all me, boo-boo. I mean, I know it's hard to believe somebody could be cute without AI, but that's me, baby. That's all me. Anyway, says shows you're not serious and would milk anything for a buck. So yeah, a bunch of blame Democrat losers. Democrats created T-Rump. Get the F out of here. Then you also say, because you had a lot to say, wow, Democrats, wow, Trump loves blacks. Listen, I don't necessarily know what you are or who you are. I can only speculate, but I'm gonna need you to get about your emotions because see, you are part of the problem. You talking about wham Democrats. I mean, they're both the devil. The Democrats and the Republicans, they're both the devil. You tell me if you're black, what has a Democrat done for you? What have they done for you? Because if the Democrats were doing something, we wouldn't be in this mess in the first place. Okay, they had these borders wide open, letting anybody and their mama come over here while telling you as a black person, if you are black American, they're telling you no. But they opened up the borders and told everybody yes, and you crying about what Trump is doing. See, one thing about I can respect about Trump is he's making sure everybody get it. Who's everybody? White, blacks, Asians, Hispanics, everybody getting it. If you ain't sitting in his tax bracket, you can get it. And if you a fool, and some tell me you might be, to think that Kamala was going to do something for you, you know what she told you? No. She said, no. I'm not going to do anything that benefits just black people. No. And you crying about what Trump is doing? How foolish. See, You're like a lot of people, and I was like you too. The recovering Democrat was like you too. We felt like we needed to choose a massa, but one massa's better than they both massas. And they both ain't going to do a damn thing for you. Nothing. So with Trump, he's forcing everybody's eyes open because even these good white folks was thinking, oh, we're saying we're going to elect Trump and Trump is going to do this and that. And white folks had their food stamps cut off too when they was fighting over, you let them eat cake. They about to be, they some of the able-bodied that's about to be put up out of these Section 8 homes and things like that. There's a lot of white people. I know they tell you about all these black women, but there's a lot of white people lost their jobs when Elon was up in there playing federal government employee when he was slashing all them jobs. So there's a lot of white people getting it too. All them farmers, a lot of white farmers, more white farmers than there are black farmers, and they leaving up out of here on their own free will every day because they wait for Trump's tariffs to, to pay them back. Trump says, well, with these tariffs, I'm going to get raised $12 billion. I'm going to give it to the farmers. Well, guess what the Supreme Court said? You will do no such thing because your tariff wars were illegal. So now you got all these states suing. But in the process, I'm saying all that to say that Trump don't love nobody. So if you think he loves somebody more than he loves it, no. Kamala don't love nobody either, because if she did while she was in the White House with Biden, we have our reparations, right? They would have said, no, close the borders because these people coming over here, they destabilize a lot of communities, especially Black Americans. They get these jobs, they undercut, and they get, they would have done that. Kamala, who's supposed to be a Black woman, I don't want to argue about that. If she is, she ain't, right? Just like Obama. Obama said, well, and y'all never want to talk about Obama. What did he say? Well, I didn't give reparations because I didn't want nobody else to get mad. Negro, we put you in office because we thought we was getting reparations, and we saw you give reparations to everybody else, including Jews. LGBTQ got something. Everybody, police got something. Everybody got something, but the people who voted for him to the tune of 98%. Do you know that was Black folks voting who never voted for Obama, put him in office, and he told us to kiss his narrow behind. But yeah, you crying about what Trump is doing, but you ain't got no smoke for the people who I'm assuming look like you. How foolish can you be? When you wake up and realize they both the devil, then you'll be better off. But you coming up in here getting mad because you think we praising Trump or whatever it is, or we not praising the Democrats. We're not going to praise the Democrats. And the Democrats going to get the most smoke because they get the most loyalty from us, and we get most of nothing from them. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Derek, how you doing? Says exactly. They both work against us collectively, Democrats and Republicans. Absolutely. Let's see, skipping on down because I didn't see we're out of time. Cynthia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Anthony says Epstein was just a middleman and y'all are so focused on the wrong thing. I don't know who this y'all is. I don't know Epstein. Don't ever want to know him. I have my speculations about who he is. I don't think he was just some dude everybody was trusting with. He may or may not be, right? But he was a teacher at first, and he became this financier. Where he get all this damn money from? Where he can be having all these islands and stuff?
Israel.
So we're not asleep as to what's going on here. We're very aware, right? Arniba says Netanyahu had the nerve to say after he frees Iran, he will free Africa. Well, they trying to mess with South Africa too, because they had a meeting and they were saying, oh yeah, South Africa with the stuff too. They was the first ones. I think it was at the UN to sue or want to bring Israel up on criminal charges, as South Africa was. So they trying to, in a sense, bring them into the foolishness. Brother Don says Israelis people are begging Iran to stop bombing them, and they give up. Iran wins, yeah, because their peace is being disrupted. Imagine having to get up all night long because they setting it off. Sister Sunlight says Ghislaine probably said, why be discreet now? Like the song says, everything is out in the open. There ain't nothing left to hide. Yeah, but the American people is like, so then why would you potentially gonna lie? If Trump is going to let you out, you'll potentially lie. Or he didn't have anything to do with anything, right? So there's that. And Magza, how you doing? It says, of the G slain Maxwell, what? So Sunlight says, I think they're talking about the AI and the thumbnail. Oh, okay. Yeah. I rarely, if you look at my thumbnails, I rarely use AI, but I used it today because I really couldn't find the piece together how to do this. So yeah, that's AI, but okay. Cut from a different cloth. How you doing? Bonehound, how you doing? Says y'all don't nothing but spread rumors. Do you consider the Iranian people want this? It seems they are tired of tyranny and want the life in the 21st century.
Yeah, I already addressed that. I basically told him I think he's a little late to the broadcast because I spoke on that.
I really know why doves cry. I really do. But then I also get it. I'm a communication major, so I know sometimes people just like to say stuff, and I have to concede that as well. People just want to be heard. I heard you. King Shaw, did I say hi to you? He says delineation is doing that to everybody. Yes, indeed. Angela Israel, how you doing? Says, betcha that's one campaign promise Trump would like to take back. He opened that can of worms. He sure did. He sure did. D Mackey says, I think it's Demetri. The world is tightening its fist and about to deliver a knockout blow. Yep. Yeah, Derek, Kamala Imhoff. You know, she don't use that last name too much. Diane says Kamala need to go take several seats. She ain't hollering and screaming about the small hats that have been taken care of by the government. Now, she ain't going to do that because she laying right next to one every night. Pillow talking. Old school says the Democratic Party cares more about illegal immigrants and abortion babies, especially babies in the FBA community. Yep. And that was Kamala's thing. You know, they're talking about Planned Parenthood and all that. It's like, we need to keep our babies, right? We got to have as many babies as possible. Common Man says, and paid them big bucks when they got here, Demetri, and Black Americans are still asking for reparations. Yeah, but they, you know, and that was a Democratic administration did that, but they whining about Trump. It's like, shut up. I don't like to tell people to shut up sometimes, but you know, sometimes I can't help myself. Just shut up. It's exhausting sometimes, you know. Black and Brooklyn, Virginia, how you doing? He says, what are the people getting now? What people? CJ, how you doing? Says it's embarrassing.
Maybe saying like with the Democrats versus the Republicans.
Anybody getting that? They getting it. I mean, yeah, the Republicans are giving people a rude awakening, but Kamala was gonna follow the same old playbook. It's the same old playbook. Remember, she was saying that it's the same old playbook. You homegirl, you was gonna use it. You was about to dust it off if you won.
Yeah, see, and the thing is, when somebody uses that vernacular about what you're going to get, well, if you don't vote Democrat, what the Republican will get for you. Republicans don't come to me every 2 to 4 years asking me to vote for them. So I don't expect nothing from them. But when you come knocking on my door, promising me all this other stuff and you don't deliver, that's where the problem is. You know, people that use that argument, it's an ignorant argument.
Yeah. And Ink Intelligent. See how your names be ran together. So I've never heard. How you doing, by the way? I've never heard of reparations in my entire life. All I knew was work hard and die, and I've been Black all my life. I heard about reparation in the last 3 years, and I'm sorry, and I'm sad that you're just not hearing about reparations in the last 3 years. But reparations have been a thing since we left those plantations in 1865. We were supposed to get our reparations, and then they lied. Okay, so reparations has been a talking point for centuries at this point.
But let's not even talk about reparations. How could you sit there as a Black person and let all these other groups get all this money, and you've been vested in this country from day one? We fought in every war. We are vested, but yet we seem comfortable letting other people come into this country and skip the line ahead of us to get all this money. How are we comfortable with that?
Apparently we don't know about it, Cynthia says Black Americans voted for the political parties and not the political policies, and that's why we're here. However, unfortunately, people are having a hard time coping with Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, that's what they say, Trump derangement syndrome. But at a certain point too, you can't just keep saying Trump, because that's how partially while Kamala didn't get elected, she was resting on pretty and blaming Trump. It's like, okay, Trump is the devil. Let's just concede that he's the devil. Okay, an orange one, great. Now, what are you going to do once you get in office besides saying, and they ask her, you can do anything different than Biden? Well, I can't think of anything. What are you going to do? She never did say.
Right. Wait. Wasn't that Jasmine Crockett? You're running against this guy here. I forgot his name, but everything that came out of her mouth was Trump. Trump this, Trump that, Trump this. What is wrong? And these are supposed to be highly educated people.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know everything. I really don't. But we got to start thinking. That's how we are. That's why we are. And as the city has said too, policies and parties and things. we got to start thinking. You know, we thinking the Democrats love. Why do we think that? I don't know. Can y'all tell me what has the Democrats ever done for us that illustrates that they love us? What have they done? And anything that they've done for us, back to the FDR administration in the 30s, is because he had to. He needed to be reelected, and black people could vote. And his wife talked him into including us into the New Deal.
Well, I got one. They give us the voting rights bill that they have to vote on every 25 years. But I could be a Afghan and come here. I don't need a bill. I could automatically vote if I'm a naturalized citizen. You see, that's why I don't understand that. Why is it that the only bill specific to black people is the voting rights bill? And then the Democrats insult us talking about, well, you know, they're too dumb to go get an ID, or they don't have the money. If you're identifying that we don't have the resources and the money to get the ID, that's policy. That right there, if that's your argument, then give us the money. Give us our money that's going to help us get these IDs. But I could be an Asian person, anybody that's migrated here, I could vote. I could vote. Not illegally. I'm talking about a naturalized citizen. I can vote. Only black-born people in this country has to have their voting rights voted on every 25 years. That never made sense to me.
Yeah, but most people don't even know that, right? Marjorie says, I guess he didn't listen to Dr. King's speech on reparations thoroughly. And I want to go back to this comment. Sister Sass says, wow, not the right chat for me. No, you right in the right chat. I promise you, you are right at home, where we speaking the truth as we know it. If we are telling a lie, it's not intentionally, but no, you right. You were brought here for a reason, sis. You're brought here because I know we as black folks in America, all over, we've been propagandized. And what did he say? James Clyburn, we've been sloganized.
Quit the sloganizing. Not the sloganizing. That's why we lost. Sloganizing. And my fish is coming dry. The fish is dry.
Right. We've been sloganized, right? Propagandized and sloganized as black folks. And so we are all unlearning what we've been taught. And I know we've been taught that the Democrats, they love black people. The Democratic Party is the party of black people. Well, if the Democrat Party is for, okay, let's just break it down. When you are for something, that means you are pro, right? Like, I'm gonna do, I'm really rooting for you. And not only am I gonna root for you, like, because this is what the Democrats do. We are filing, we are championing, we are supporting, but we never hear them say do it, specifically with Jasmine Crockett. I know a lot of people think her, wow, and Trump is Putin's hoe, and you know, mother, and I know y'all think that that's some substance. It's not. It's not. I impress upon you, Sass, if you haven't tapped out, to just go and Google Representative Jasmine Crockett. What has she done specifically for Black Americans? And I'm going to tell you, because I've done it a few times, because thinking maybe she's changed. Championing, she's supporting, she's filing. Those are the things she's doing. Or she's fighting homelessness, which is important. But there's a lot of people who are homeless. So when you say specifically, is she doing what she's doing for the illegal immigrants, right? Is she? Hold on a second. I'm gonna show you. Hold on, because I got you. If you, I hope you're still here. Let me see. What do I got for you? I got this for you. Hold on a second.
Can y'all not just have a little bit of courage and humanity? A child. Lost her mom. And y'all want to pretend that it is okay. I am asking if there is anyone that will stand for the very people that elected us and sent us to Congress.
Okay, hold on. I hope you're still here. I got something else for you.
To let you know what we're all doing, resisting this low-down, dirty, no-good, filthy president of the United States of America. Let me just say this, They are targeting our leadership, both in the Latino community and in the Black community. And while they're targeting them and following them, I'm on the street and I'm following ICE and I'm targeting ICE. And I went to the deportation center. If David Huerta is here, I came to see about you, David. I came to see about you. I came to see about you because we've got to let them know that they're not going to get away with this. We're documenting everything. We're resisting. And I want to tell you, you are seeing the biggest coming together of the Black and brown community that we've seen in this city ever. We are organized. We are coalescing with each other, and we're going to fight together. And the question that you're asking, the protest must continue. You must not stop. I'm protesting. I've been to 11 of them. I stay on the street, in the alleys, wherever I need to be.
But you know what they will give you?
Hard to get up.
I mean, we could have really been here forever. So that's the Democrat Party. And the first two, Jasmine, she crying over ICE raids. Now, of course, nobody should have been, pew-pewed in their face. You're talking about Renee Good, but she's crying over the ICE raids. And the problem is, yeah, ICE is important. They shouldn't be doing how they're doing it. But, you got Maxine Waters out there. She following and chasing behind. She in the back alleys, right? She talking about the Black and Brown coalition. When last time you heard Maxine Waters talking about the Black and Brown coalition when it comes to Black people? Then the ICE ain't at the Black Americans. Now, are some getting caught up? Yeah, unfortunately, okay? But they not looking for us. We are citizens here. But you say that's not the right chat for you. Well, what's the right chat? Were you seeing them? Did y'all hear when they was kneeling, all the cameras were snapping? That was a photo op. Is that the right chat for you? Where Jasmine Crockett can be, dancing to Kendrick Lamar in the halls of Congress because she ain't got nothing really to do. Or Maxine Waters reclaiming her time, or any of the other ones. James Clyburn, thank God he ain't running no more. He probably don't remember what he's doing at this point, but he giving you a funky fish fry. Is that the right chat? I'm just trying to figure out, I know this, what we're saying in here is not popular, but we're not trying to be popular here.
But Demetra, we tried. Don't that count for something? We tried. We didn't write any bills. We're not talking about it on the floor of the House or the Senate. And if we do write bills, we don't bring them to be signed after committee, going through all these committees and stuff. We just hide it. Your boy Bryant here in California. But guess what, Demetra? We tried.
Yeah. Cecilia, how you doing? So just join Howard War only hit one race hard. Well, everything hits Black Americans hard. It's not a secret, right? As I said earlier, when America catches a cold, Black Americans catch a flu because, for one, we are underserved and a whole host of other things and the way we do things. We don't practice group economics. We give all of our money away. We almost at $2 trillion, but we giving 97% of that away, keeping 3%. We're dependent on everybody outside of ourselves. We're dependent on the Democratic Party. We're dependent on the church. We're dependent on Kermit the Frog. We're dependent on Miss Piggy. We're dependent on everybody but ourselves. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So when this hits, it's not if, this is already hitting. We're already hearing. I told y'all we went into Sam's Club. My daughter and I wasn't even there an hour, and the gas went up 10 cents. If I'm lying, I'm flying it, and I'm too heavy to fly, okay? It went up 10 cents. So we're going to go back, obviously, next week to see how much it go up. My brother called me a couple days ago, said it's already $6 here in California. $6 damn a gallon, okay?
2 weeks, it was $4. 2 weeks ago, it was $4.
Right. So, Donovan, you better at math than I am. Gas is going up. Wages aren't going up. So if I was paying, and $4 is high. $4 a gallon is high. right? So if gas is going up $6, and check it out, the job wages aren't going up. In fact, some of these jobs are going away. In fact, some people are getting laid off, and their hours. I have a buddy of mine that called me the other day. He worked for the city of Houston. He said, this mayor is cutting our overtime. He says most of us, the overtime is how we get by. The job is, but the overtime is how we're able to put food on the table. So they completely gotten rid of that. He says they are in fact hiring contractors, and we know what they do with the contractors. Donovan, I'm gonna say allegedly, the contractors are the homies, and the homies circumvent that money right back to the people who gave them the contracts in the first place. So go ahead.
Well, and you also got to realize you got to get rid of the demand. The demand drives the price up as well. So by Trump getting these illegals out of here, if there's no demand for housing, the prices go down or they stay the same because these people want to sell these homes. But if you have a bunch of people here who are fighting for housing and trying to fill up their trucks and stuff, the demand goes up. It's basic economics, you guys. And so by Trump getting these people that should not be here out of here, that helps the Black community. But see, we attribute everything to a president. A president is not a god or a dictator. A lot of this stuff, if Congress would stop conceding their power to the executive. Let's look at the word executive. Execute. The president's job is to execute the laws. Why aren't you guys asking yourselves, why isn't Congress doing their job of regulating this stuff? But they're not. Oh, it's Trump's fault. Oh, it's Biden's fault. Oh, it's Obama's fault. Oh, it's Clinton's fault. No, it's Congress's fault because they control the purse strings.
Absolutely. So like you said, it's basic economics. And Donovan, I will say this. I've been, sometimes your posts pop up on my page and boy, I tell you, you're like a Gideon and 300 because they be on your bumper, boy. I don't know. They're like Donovan, some of the people on his page are like, they're so you. I just read it. I don't get involved. I don't say nothing. I'll be thinking about saying something like, no, Donovan got him, but they really emotional. And I'm like, what's wrong with these people? And I'd be wanting to say, well, go find you a nearest plantation already and just get it over with. Go get on the plantation since you think you're gonna, it's just chomp, and they be like grown men. I'm like, y'all women lay down with y'all and be all right with. I'm gonna shut up because last time I said something on Donovan's page, boy, I upset the whole apple cart. But they said something to me first. Okay, I was minding my business, said something to me, and I don't think that brother ever been the same. Because I tell you, he got the razor blades and lemon juice, and he called his daughters to the post, and they got the razor blades and lemon juice, and then his wife came too, and she got the razor blades and lemon juice too. So I just learned to just be quiet. As Donovan, he got put in the doghouse over little old me. Anyway. Renard said, Demetri and Donovan, it's times like this or where Black Americans are going to suffer for their refusal to accept reality and stop being emotional. The matriarchal mindset of Black American is poison. Yeah, and that's true. I know a lot of people don't like it, but the Black community is very matriarchal and it needs not to be that way. Not saying that women aren't, dope and dynamic and all that, but it's time for us to sit down and the men to stand up and take control of this community. It's not negotiable. And the men have to do it. Say, sassafras said, be quiet and sit down. Right? And sassafras, you got to be quiet and sit down. Tammy, how you doing? Says, notice it's only Black women the Democratic Party puts on their to make fools of themselves in communities. Well, I heard that the Black woman is now mad. They're gonna punish the Democrats during the midterms because
Jasmine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jasmine didn't get the nomination, so they're gonna punish the Democrat Party. It's like it's about damn time, right? If you would have did that, we might be somewhere. But y'all, we the backbone, child. We the backbone of the Democrat Party. You the ass bone. You the ass bone of the Democrat Party. Okay? And with respect. Nito's saying what's going on. She says a bunch of goofballs. Wally says, what Black leadership is she talking about? Is that the hope and change? Yes, hope and change. You hope they change their mind and do something for you. I'm out of here, Donovan. I got you. You ain't got to tell me twice. Sister Cynthia, thank you so much for that. Says, and the FBA's got to let them know no more votes until we receive our tangibles and reparations. Come on now. But listen, y'all better quit calling that lady Maxi Pad. That lady is 87 years old. She ain't seen no Maxi Pad for 90 years already.
And running for re-election, y'all. But guess what? She represents the Hispanic community. 72% of the people who voted for her 2 years ago were Hispanic because there are no blacks in LA anymore. So she doesn't have to pander to black folks. She's going to pander, like you heard her say, I'm going to be there behind ICE and do, she's doing for her constituents.
Sass, he says, I care about everyone. Sorry if I hurt your feelings. I care about everyone too, but I care about me and my community first. And trust me, y'all told me to stop saying I'm old. I'm an older bird, right? I've been here for a long time and I've had my feelings hurt more ways than one. And ain't nothing can hurt my feelings now. My mama gone, my daddy gone. Tell y'all, it can't nothing hurt my feelings now. Not nothing. So, I hear y'all the same. Thank you, Derry. I love you for being here. So anyway, we're going to get out of here because Donovan's like, my chicken is getting cold. But we really could be here forever. Brother Samuel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. We'll be back here tomorrow. And listen, tomorrow we're going to have an interview with Tamara Johnson-Shealy. It's going to be a good interview. She is actually our reparations crusader. She's got boots on the ground. She is pursuing reparations. So she's coming with a surprise announcement tomorrow. So that'll be on our podcast. And Donovan will be back later on in the evening to have a live conversation with you. So please stay tuned for that, as it is I think it's a pretty good announcement that she's going to make. So anyway, I love all y'all. If I didn't get to your comments and all that, I'm sorry. And if y'all see Avenge the Ancestors anywhere around in these YouTube streets, tell him I did not see his super chats for whatever reason. I'm sorry that I didn't see it. So I'll see y'all later. Peace.